Hello students, I hope everyone is staying safe at home and keeping up with their studies. I'm Vicky Hino and today I'll be taking class 10 social science, that is the history portion. Okay. Now, as I've written it here, we are going to discuss about the nationalist movement in Indochina. This is class 10 history portion chapter 2, okay? Nationalist movement in Indochina. Now the reason why we have this chapter in our SS history is this is one of, when we talk about Indochina, okay, this is one of the most important states in Peninsula who fought for colonialism in order to gain their independence. Now colonialism means extending of empire and making that country depending on them. And all those countries who follows colonialism policy, they are called as colonial power. Those countries who comes under the colonial power, they are called as the colonies. So that is to do with colonialism. So today we are going to discuss about how Indochina fought against colonialism, okay, in order to gain their independence. Now, when we talk about Indochina, Indochina, it comprises of 4 protectorate. One is, we call it as Laos, okay? Then the second one is, we call it as Cambodia. Then the third country is Vietnam. Now, Vietnam is again divided into 2 parts, which are called as Tonkin and Annan. So, this 3 or 4 protectorate, they comprises the Indochina. So today, as I've said, we are going to discuss about how these countries were able to fight against colonial power, that is the France, okay, in order to get their independence. Now, going into the topic, okay, now the France, that is the country of France, they have been interested in Indochina from the beginning of the early 17th century. But it was only in the mid-19th century, that is in 1858, okay, in 1858, that the French landed in Indochina. Now, there are lots of reasons, okay, there are lots of reasons why the French, they wanted to have control over Indochina. So, those reasons, let's go step by step, okay. Now, in the first place, in your textbook, it is written, French motives in colonialism. Why were the French interested, or why were the French following colonialism policy? Because during those centuries, not only France, but many European countries, they were following colonialism policy. And one thing you need to remember here is, all those countries who are following colonialism policy, their main aim is profit. Whatever they do, they will do it just to get profit. So here, the French also, they wanted to develop the economy of the Indochina, because once the economy is developed, all the profit will go to the French. So that was the reason why the French, they decided to go for development of economy. Now, in order to develop the economy, okay, what the French people did was, they knew that Indochina was very suitable for agriculture, that is for cultivation. So the first thing they did was, okay, they started draining the land, okay. The lands were made into field, they built lots of canals, okay, canals were dug, then they brought in all those better facilities, manures, fertilizers and everything in order to develop the agriculture. And in doing so, by 1931, okay, by 1931, Indochina had become the 3rd largest producer of rice in the world. And it was all this because of the French. But because of this, what happened was, there came a debate. That is, among the Europeans themselves, there was a debate, and that is, one point is whether to develop the economy or not. Because even if the economy of the colonies are being developed, all the profits are being taken by the colonial power and not the colonies. So the colonies, they were not getting any profit from there. So that was the debate that the historians, that the Europeans, they had among themselves, basing on the development of economy. Now here, the French, they were able to develop the economy of the Indochina, and how they were able to develop the economy was they went in for the development of agriculture. And as I've said, by 1931, Indochina, that is Vietnam, had become the third largest producer of rice. And all this, the French people, they were able to do it because of forced labor, okay? The French people, they were able to do all these things through forced labor. Now, forced labor means where we are forcing someone, okay? A person is forced to do something unwillingly. Or in other words, here it can be to do with when someone is asked to do work without getting anything in return. That is, without any payment, okay, without getting any money back in return. So that is also called as forced labor. And here in this situation, all these were done through forced labor, okay? Then after Vietnam had come under the control of the French, okay, their economy had been developed. Now what happened was all the European colonies, okay, all the European powers, whenever they bring a country, whenever they bring a colony under their control, they always go for one thing, and that is called as this: civilized mission, okay? They call it as civilized mission or civilizing mission. Now, civilizing mission means all the European countries, okay, all the colonial powers, they believe that the Asian and African people are uncivilized. They believe that we are mannerless or uncivilized and such. And so they believe that it is their duty, okay, it is the duty of the colonial power to civilize the Asian and African people. So that is called as civilized or civilizing mission, okay, to civilize the Asian and African people. Now, to go for civilization, or when we call ourselves as a civilized person, we all know that it all comes back to education, okay? Once you are educated, you are considered to be a civilized person. So here also, in order to go for the civilizing mission, in order to civilize the Asian and African people, the French, they also decided to go for education, okay? They decided to go or to start with education. But now here, there was a problem, okay? There was a problem, and that is the French. One group of them, they want to educate the Vietnamese. But the other group, they believe that, or they are scared that once the Vietnamese get educated, they will come to know about their rights. And once they come to know about their rights, it's a sure thing that they will start fighting for their rights. And if they start fighting for their rights, then the French, they are going to lose out their profit. So the French people, they don't want that. So there was a big debate on whether to introduce education or not, whether to start education system in Vietnam or not, okay? But whatever it is, in the end, they had to do it. So they decided to go for the civilizing mission, and that is to educate the Vietnamese. But in educating the Vietnamese also, okay, the problem here is the medium of instruction. Okay, the debate again they had was whether it should be Vietnamese, okay, whether the students should be taught in Vietnamese, whether they should be taught in English, or whether they should be taught through French language. So the medium of instruction, they had a debate on that also. So here now, in your textbook, okay, in your textbook, you have two suggestions. Two suggestions were given by the French government in order to proceed with the education system in France, okay? So the first one is, the first suggestion, some people suggested that the medium of instruction should be French. Everything should be done through French language, because the French, they want to make sure, okay, they want to make sure that the Vietnamese, they don't revolt against the French. So the first suggestion was, they say that everything, the medium of instruction should be French, so that the Vietnamese, they will also be able to understand about the culture, the language of the French. Plus, another point is, it is written there clearly in your textbook, we call it as the Asiatic France. The French, they believe that through this, okay, they will be able to create an Asiatic France in Vietnam, which will be able to help the European France in Europe. So that was the first suggestion, okay, that is the medium of instruction should be French. Then the second suggestion was, some of them, they suggested that in the lower classes, okay, in the lower classes, the medium of instruction should be France, and once they are, in the lower classes, the medium of instruction should be Vietnamese, and once they come to the higher classes, it should be done in France. And those who become very fluent in French language, they were also given the opportunity that they will be given French citizenship. So these are the two suggestions which were given by the French, okay? Now, what the French government decided to do was, they decided to come up with the new education, of themselves, by themselves, okay? And that is, they came up with new textbooks, and in all the textbook, okay, it was written that the Vietnamese were primitive. That means they were old-fashioned, okay? The Vietnamese were backward, they were old-fashioned, they were primitive. Then it was also written that even if the Vietnamese get educated, they are fit only to work in the field. They are fit only for manual labors. This is just to play the mentality, because if every day someone tells you that you are an idiot, then I'm sure you'll turn out to be an idiot, because every day you are hearing that, isn't it? So the same thing, that was the idea of the French. So in all the textbook, the French had written that the Vietnamese are primitive, that is, they are backward. Then even if they get educated, they are fit only to work in the field and not in the office. Now this was done so that the educated Vietnamese, they will not start demanding for jobs. Because in the administrative field in Vietnam, all the jobs were done by the French citizen. And the French, they don't want to give up that. And so they want to make sure that the Vietnamese, even if they get educated, they will believe that they are fit to work only in the field and not in the office. Then, in order to destroy, okay, they wanted to the French, they wanted to destroy the culture of Vietnam also. So what they did was, they gave a law, okay, they introduced that all the students, they have to wear short haircut, okay, then they have to wear only Western clothes. Then even to do with games also, they had to play only Western games. Now all these were done in order to destroy the Vietnamese culture and tradition, so that they will happily be under the control of the French. Then another point is, in the textbook also it was written, okay, the students, they had to study that the Vietnamese, they will be able to progress forward, they will be able to develop only if they stay under the control of the French. So this was the new education policy, okay? This was the new education policy that the French introduced in Vietnam. Now, in your textbook, they have mentioned an example, okay? They have mentioned an example which shows that by that time, many of the Vietnamese, they came to realize that they are being exploited, okay? They are being manipulated by the French. And so, in the school itself, the students now, they started revolting against the French government. Now, this is to do with the Saigon Native Girls School. There was a girl school in Vietnam, and here what happened was, one day, okay, a French girl, she came to be admitted in the school. The principal, she brought the new French girl to the classroom, and in the front seat, there was one Vietnamese girl sitting there. And so what the principal did was, he asked the Vietnamese girl to give up her seat. Okay, the principal, he told the girl to go back and sit in the back and to vacate her seat to the French girl. Now, this Vietnamese girl, she refused. She refused to give up her seat. And when she refused to give up her seat, the principal, he got angry with her and she was given her TC, that is, she was suspended. When she was suspended, other students also, they join in, okay? Other students also, Vietnamese students also, they join in, and the principal again, he suspended all those students who had joined in support of the girl. Now this event, it became bigger, and in the end, the French government, they had to intervene, and the French government, they told, okay, the principal to take back all those students whom he had suspended. So the principal, he had to take back all those students, but what the principal said was, okay, he said that he also threatened that he would crush all the Vietnamese. But by any means, he had to take back the students. So he took back the students. Now, the reason why this example is given is just to show that even the students, okay, even the students, they were now revolting against the colonial power, that is against the French. So that is to do with that example, okay? Then, in all apart from education also, even in religion field, even in religion, the people, they started revolting, okay? They started revolting against the French. Because when we talk about the country of France, we all know that European countries means they will be following Christianity. And what they do is, all the colonial power, whenever they bring a colony under their control, they used to try to spread Christianity among them. And the same thing happened in Vietnam, that is in Indochina. In Indochina also, the French, they decided to start spreading Christianity. Now, the Indo-Chinese people or the Vietnamese, their religion was mainly to do with Buddhism, okay? Buddhism, Confucianism, and some of them, they believe in animism also. Animism means worshipping nature, okay? So many of them, they were into those kind of denominations. So now, because of the French trying to spread Christianity, the Vietnamese, they did not like it. And so there was again another revolt, we call it as the Scholars' Revolt. And this Scholars' Revolt, it broke out in 1868. And this was to do with religion, okay? The Vietnamese, they started fighting against the French because of religion. So in all the field, okay, in all the field now, the Vietnamese, they have started. They have come to know about the condition. They were suffering a lot under the French control. So now they decided to fight against the French. So in the school also, in the education system also, they have started revolting against the French. Then in religion also, they started doing the same thing. Then another point is, in your textbook again, we have a movement which is called as How movement. I know you may find it funny also, okay? I'll just write it here. Okay, this is called as the How movement. Now this movement, it was started by one famous scholar who is called as Han Fu So, okay? He is called as Han Fu So. Now this man, he was a very simple man, okay? He was a very simple man, and what he did was, he used to work for the poor people, okay? He used to work for the poor people. Then he was against those days, we all know that the Vietnamese, they used to go for gambling, okay? They used to drink a lot. Then they also used to smoke opium, drugs and all. And this man, okay, Han Fu So, he preached that all these were not good, okay? He said that these practices are not good. And he really used to work for the poor people. And so because of this, he had lots of followers. There were many people who liked him, and he had lots of followers. Now, because of that, what happened was, on the other side, the French government, they started getting scared. The French government, they were scared because if this man, okay, if his followers started increasing day by day, then it's a sure thing that at one time or one day, they are going to start revolting against the French. And so the French government, they were scared. But then, without an excuse, they cannot arrest him. So what the French government did was, the French government said that this man had gone insane, okay? That they say that he was mad. The French government, they declared him as mad and they put him into a mental asylum, okay? They put him into a mental hospital and they even appointed, a doctor to treat him. Now what happened was, ironically, the doctor who was sent to treat this man, that is Han Fuso, this doctor again, he became the follower of Han Fuso. So now the government, what happened was, the French government, they can no longer put him there in the mental hospital because the doctor had declared him as sane person, not mad. So what they had to do is they had to take him out from the hospital. So they took him out from the mental hospital, but they put him into exile, okay? Now exile means he was not allowed to stay in Indochina. He had to go and stay elsewhere, but not in Indochina. So that is called as exile. So this is called as the Hao Ho movement. So all this shows that the French people, okay, the French government, now they are also getting scared because everywhere people were fighting, okay? The Vietnamese, they had started fighting against the French. Now we come to one of the most important point, and I hope you will find it very interesting, and that is, we call it as modernization, okay? Modernization. Now here, why modernization is, this is to do with the Vietnamese. Now the Vietnamese, they have got, many of them, they got their education, okay? But before the coming of the French also, there were many educated Vietnamese who got their education from China and Japan, okay? So these people, now they came to realize that all those things that the French government had introduced was not good for them. So now the question is, now they started questioning themselves. What is modernization? Okay, what is modernization? Many of us also, many of the students also, we discuss about, you think about it. What is modernization? And many of you, you believe that being a modernized person means speaking fluent English, okay, or wearing good dresses. So that is what we believe. So here also, the Vietnamese also, they believe the same thing, okay? That is, what they believe is, the modernization means discarding tradition. If we want to become modern, if we want to become a modern person, does that mean that we need to do away with our tradition? Does it mean that we need to stop speaking our languages? So all this, the Vietnamese also, they started questioning themselves, okay? Discarding tradition, their own culture and language. Then another point is, or modernization, does it mean copying the West? Like how our youngsters does these days, isn't it? Many of you are so crazy after the Korean, having all those Korean hairstyle and whatnot, isn't it? And you feel that if you do that, you look very modern, or you look maybe cool. I don't know what you think about yourself, but that is how it is now in this generation regarding the students. So here also the Vietnamese, they were going through the same phase, okay? What is modernization? So in order to be modern, we do away with our culture? Do we do away with our language, our tradition? And are we supposed to copy the West? So that was what the Vietnamese were also questioning themselves. Then another point is, some of the intellectuals believe that to resist the domination of the West, Vietnamese tradition had to be strengthened. Because right now the issue is to do with the French. They are trying to fight against the French in order to get their independence. So some intellectuals, they believe that if we want to fight against the French, then the Vietnamese, they have to strengthen their tradition, their culture. So that is to do with what they were going through. And in this situation, again in Vietnam, there came up two great philosophers, okay? One is called as Phan Bao Chau, and another one is called as Phan Chu Trinh. Everything is there in your textbook, okay? So I won't be writing here on the whiteboard, so please make sure you go to your textbook, okay? So the two scholars are Phan Bao Chau and Phan Chu Trinh. Now, regarding this Phan Bao Chau, he was a famous scholar. He wrote lots of books, okay? And one of the most famous book of his was, he wrote a book which is called as The History of the Laws of Vietnam. And this book, this novel, it is to do with, in this novel, he had written about the loss of sovereignty, how the Vietnamese had lost their independence, okay? Then the second point is, he had also written about how the Vietnamese had lost their connection with the Chinese and the Japanese. So that book is called as The History of the Loss of Vietnam. And he wrote this book, and this book became very, very famous. Now, regarding these two scholars, okay, Phan Bao Chau and Phan Chu Trinh, they are very good scholars, but their ideas were totally different. One guy, he believes that, okay, they should stay under the control of the French so that they would become modernized. The other scholars, he believed that they should fight against the Vietnamese. They should make the French go away. Then one scholar, he believes in monarchicism. He says that the Vietnamese should be looked after by the king, okay? Whereas the other scholar, again, he was not in favor of monarchy. He wants democracy. Democracy means government of the people, for the people, and by the people, where the government is ruling the country according to the wishes of the people. So their ideas were different, but whatever it is, they came to reconcile, and they did lots of things, okay? They were able to greatly inspire the Vietnamese in fighting against the French in order to gain their sovereignty, or in order to get their independence. So till there, today I just want to stop from there, because it's a lengthy chapter, plus all those points that we have discussed just now regarding how the French came to Vietnam, what was their motive when they came to Vietnam in order to develop the economy, what are the things that they did. So all those things, please go to your textbooks again, read the textbook. You are in class 10, you are going to appear for matric, and textbook reading is very, very important, because the multiple choice question, the objective questions, it can come from anywhere. So please read the textbook. If you have any doubts, you underline those points, and once the schools resume, please clarify your doubts from your teachers. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe and be good.